Good morning, guys. Today's project is going to be mounting all this mess onto the front of that behind the grill. Alright, so what do we have here? We have a really neat triggered wireless controller for the lights. This will handle up to 4 circuits, and it has a wireless switch panel, so you do not have to drill through the dash or find a hole in your firewall to get your panel through. And you can also take this out and use it remotely, and it does have an app which will allow you to do even more stuff. So this is a pretty neat item. This is a triggered wireless. So you can look these up on Amazon. They're a few $100. Pretty cool. Then I wanted a little bit of extra light on the front of my coach, so I bought this little 25-inch light bar. It's clear in the middle. It's got amber on the sides. Supposedly you can separate these out to do just clear or just amber. That's what we're going to do. But as you can see, they gave us a whole bunch of wiring that we probably won't need. We may end up splicing and cutting to get this to work with the triggered, but it is a pretty neat standalone kit if you need it. So what we're going to have to do, since our regular brackets will not work on this application, we're going to mock up some brackets with that flat bar right there. And if we're lucky enough, if I mock them up right, I might be able to use them permanently. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not going to be able to film the entire process because I'm by myself. I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and mock up at the same time, and I'm sure you guys don't want to look at my ugly ass while I'm doing this. So I got my cutoff tool. Don't have my cutoff wheel on it yet, but we got some flat bar, we got the light bar, we got a whole bunch of wiring that we have to do. We have to mount the wireless box up underneath. That's going to be a fun operation. There's not a lot of space up in the front of this coach here to mount it, but we'll find a spot for it. But what we're going to do is, and I'll come in right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this from the sun, but we're going to go in right here, probably second bar up, right in the middle. And where those braces are like the first LED of the yellow, so that's going to be okay for the brake. I thought about sticking it through and bringing it out the front, but what I'm afraid is if I don't get my brackets right, with all the vibration, it'll push down on these bars and potentially break them. I was going to go down on the bottom. That's just a little bit too low. Probably end up scraping it on a driveway or something and ripping the damn thing off. So next best was here, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but there is a couple of brackets here that I'm going to be working off of to make up my mounting brackets, and that's just going to mount right inside the grill here. So then we're going to have to figure out where all the wiring goes. My battery's right there. We're going to have to put the triggered wireless somewhere in here. A lot of tight spaces and fun stuff to work with. So as I work through it, I may pop in and do a little bit of progress reports, or at the end I'll show you everything that I've done. So that's the project today. This is a 2006 Fleetwood Bounder Motorhome 32-foot that I'm working with. If you see my previous videos, I had a 91 Bounder that I did a lot of work on and did some videos on. I recently sold that to some very nice people, and I hope they're happy with it. And I hope I'm happy with my new upgrade, my 2006. So we'll see you soon. Okay, here's a progress report. This is where I want the light to set. I had a nice piece of foam that was perfectly spaced to set the light bar on. So I've got where I want it to be at. And if we can see through the grates here, you can see right there I've got a couple of mocked up flat bar brackets that I think are actually going to work pretty well. The biggest issue I'm going to have is that being at an angle, you don't want the light bar to drop down and fall with all the vibration and the rough roads and stuff. So we're going to figure that out. Also on this side I got to do a little bit of trimming because where the plug goes in, it doesn't allow the bar to move. Got to round it off, which probably won't be an issue. But I'm thinking right down there in front of that bolt is where I'm going to bolt on. And then in front of that there's a space I believe I can just stick another bolt and a nut through there. And that'll prevent the flat bar from actually being able to drop the whole light down. It'll just kind of hold it in place. But we'll see once we get there. I'm just kind of making progress and mocking things up. But like I said, I believe I got my placement down. Like where this is right where I want it. It'll shine right through the bars without any, just got a little bit of a tiny thing right there in front of that one pod, but it's not going to really affect anything, especially on the yellow. All my clear LEDs are unimpeded. And then I also, when I put this in, I will have enough room behind this bracket here to actually make some up and down adjustments. That's the other thing I have to do, you know, because you don't want to, where it is right now, I think it's pointing probably a little bit too high. Probably needs to be pointed down a little bit more, and then, you know, you're going to make your fine adjustments once you get on the road because you don't want to be blinding people. Anyway, that's my update. We'll pick it up when we got a little bit more progress. Okay guys, the brackets are pretty much done. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the video or not, but I am just a little bit off of the cross brackets for the grill, so I can make light adjustments there. I'm bolted in here and here. You can see that's my bracket. That's the bolt on the light. That's the bolt on the bumper support. My dog's trying to lick my face right now, so hold on a second. So once I get all the final adjustments made, I will probably be drilling a second hole down here in the lower part so this doesn't allow it to pivot with vibration and whatnot. And then the only adjustment that'll be made will be up here at the light bar itself, which is standard, and we'll probably get some Loctite or something in those because those are notorious for coming out. Some of them are even notorious for stripping out, but we'll see how it goes. So now that we've got this done, try to give you a little bit of a view there. I got adjustment availability, so it's pretty good. So now it's going to be on to the more fun part, which is going to be all the wiring, which is going to be great. All right. Okay guys, got it wrapped up. It was quite a project, a little bit more. The wiring part is a little bit more complicated on this thing as I thought. I'm going to see if I can zoom in and show you. This is where I ended up mounting it. This is on the door for the fuse box. I put a zip tie around there just for extra precaution because it is a plastic box and it does just snap together. The one thing I wish Triggered would just give us a few more inches on the wiring to go down to the battery. I barely had enough room. I needed to keep that up as high as I could to avoid any of the diagrams on the other side or the fuses or breakers. Had to separate off the ground wire and everything. And then the rest of the wiring was pretty easy. I got it all wrapped up. I could have cut it a lot shorter, and I may in the future, but I just wanted to get this thing installed, see how it works. Still haven't figured out the Bluetooth yet, but I'm going to figure that one out. So here it is. I'm going to turn it on here in just 1 second and see. I got the wireless remote here. So there you have the center section, and then you have the yellows. Kind of a small light bar for this thing, I know. I would have rather gone bigger, and I might later. The Trigger does have plenty of space for 2 more light bars or pods or whatever I want to put on there. But I started with this one because it fit in between the brackets, and I knew the mounting situation was going to be easy. If I want to go with a big one, like a 50 or 60 inch or whatever, to go all the way across, I'm going to have to do some real custom fabrication with brackets and whatnot in order to get that thing to fit. But I'm going to try this thing out tonight after dark. We'll see what kind of light it puts out. If you look right at it, it's pretty dang bright. But so there it is, guys. That's the Trigger 4 Plus wireless. Like I said, if this would have been in a car, this would have been or a buggy or something like that. What a piece of cake these things are. Like I said, wireless remote switch, so you can get out, you can take it with you and get out and use it for, like, let's say if you have some work lights or floodlights, you want to turn them on and off. It also has the app, like I said, with the Bluetooth. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I'll get to that real soon. But that's all I got for today, guys. Gonna wrap this thing up. Took a little bit longer than I thought, but still overall an easy installation. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay, guys, we got it all wrapped up. Just wanted to do the one last thing now that the sun was going down, and I've got the Bluetooth working. So let me see if I can show you here. Got the app up on my phone, so we can turn lights on, turn lights off with the app. This is the coolest thing with the app, though. Oh yeah, strobe lights, baby. So check that out. That is too cool. So if you get yourself in a little bit of a bind, an emergency on the side of the road, you can set the strobes. So yeah, that is the Trigger 4. I believe it's the Plus. Looked this up on Amazon. They didn't have too many when I looked them up, but they are pretty nice. I've been looking at this for a while. The light is pretty bright. Like I said earlier, I wish it would have been bigger, but it is what it is. And I think with the regular driving lights and that on, probably going to do pretty well seeing down the road. So there you go for now, guys. And I'm definitely going to be adding some small pods in the back just for work lights, and for emergencies I can strobe them. So that is the end of this video, and we will see you next time.